Hello, my loves. Thank you guys for joining us again. It's Goddess DLV, a Sin City medium. Thank you guys for coming back. Today we've got a special guest. Her name is Jessica, and we're going to be doing mediumship. I didn't even ask you who you were wanting to connect to. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Jessica?
Okay. So I am a relatively recent Nevada transplant. I moved here in 2019 after a medical issue. And I spent about a year in recovery from that medical issue and then sort of started rebuilding.
Nice.
But I have lost all of my immediate family.
Okay.
My twin brother, my mother, my father. And that all of those losses essentially happened probably in the last 5 or 6 years. It was kind of sort of semi-rapid succession, if you will. It was like once I began healing and recovering, something else happened. And then there was just this kind of bumper effect almost. So now that I'm starting to rebuild and beginning again to sort of process all of that, and in my efforts to keep moving forward, I'm just kind of interested in, any messages, any, advice, encouragement, history, God, who knows, that my family might want to share, in addition to the immediate family loss. My mother, I never knew her mom. She died when my mother was very young. And I grew up with my mother's father and stepmother. But there's always been a huge question about who that woman was. And I know nothing about her. I know her first name. That's it.
Okay.
And so that's something I've always been curious about as well. And that just seemed also to kind of dovetail very nicely with that desire to connect with the immediate family as well. Okay. So, yeah.
So was there anybody specific that you're wanting to connect to today?
I think my expectation was that if I were to connect with anyone, it would probably be my twin, my mom, or my dad. So yeah, that's kind of what the expectation is. Yeah. Or with the...
Is there anybody named like Aman or Amand? There's somebody like a letter A keeps coming out, but it's like...
Adam,
okay. Because I'm like Aman. Sorry, I'm saying it wrong.
There's Adam and there's Arthur, but Aman sounds a little bit more similar to Adam than Arthur, but those would be the two A names.
Okay. And what was your twin brother's name?
It was Adam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that. Let's see. Okay. Let's see, Adam. So I'm going to do my call in and see if he comes through. But I feel like obviously there's already a lot of energy around. Why I'm able to pick that up. Let's see. Spirit guides, angels, loved ones, positive ancestors, ascended masters, and teachers of the highest of vibrations. Please help me to bring her family forward, specifically Adam. Adam, this is a safe space. I'm just wanting to be a vessel between you and your sister, Jessica. Okay? So, okay. When it comes to Adam, I'm sensing a bit of height here. I'm also sensing like this playful motion that he's doing. Was he into boxing?
I didn't catch the first word. Did you say height? Like
it feels like there's some height here.
Okay. Was like his height, like physical height?
Yeah, was he taller?
Yeah, he was, I don't know if he was 6 foot, but he was definitely close to that. Yeah.
I need to stop saying tall, y'all, because I'm 5'2". So I think everybody come in a little taller than me. But that's what I'm getting, like some height here.
Okay.
And there's this motion like this. Like, I don't know if this is boxing. What is he showing me here?
That's dancing.
Dancing?
Dancing. Yeah.
Okay.
That's dancing.
He like dancing?
Oh, from as far back as I can remember, rather. You know, when he was you know, young adolescent teenager, he was really into like breakdancing and all of that kind of associated culture and
Nice.
stuff like that. So yeah, he was always doing something. Yeah.
Was there some sort of accident he had with his arm? There's something I'm picking up like with was it his elbow?
Not
Is
that
is
I,
is what I'm seeing here.
yeah, not that I can think of, not that
Okay, I'll put a
not that
question mark
comes to
here.
mind.
Okay, now that comes to mind. And then he's showing me some foods here.
Are you
Well,
saying
one,
foods?
well, one I feel like was it Lucky Charms? I don't know. Why he showed me. Was Lucky Charms? He showed me.
I don't know why I'm laughing hilariously. It's not necessarily that I remember that as a very like fond thing for him. If anything, you know, when I think about cereals as a kid, it was Rice Krispies. But I mean, it just seems like a goofy thing that would be very much in touch with his personality. So yeah, not Lucky Charms specifically though, but
Yeah, it just looks like it
very
has
much
little.
kind of reminds me of Adam.
Yeah.
It would sync with Adam. It would.
Maybe that's why he's showing that to me because I'm like, no, I can see these little sugar things in here. Like,
Adam was also a chef. He cooked. Food was his thing.
he went immediately to the kitchen. So
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That
So
was
that's why he
such
showed me
a
that.
huge part of his identity. It was also the way that he showed love and care. It was something he took a lot of pride in. So yeah.
That makes sense. But I do see here. This feels like what is this? Like comfort food almost. I don't know if it was like chilies and soups but I'm getting comfort.
Okay.
Food is what I'm picking
That makes
up
a lot
here.
of sense just because he got his love for food and for cooking from my dad. My dad was an awesome cook as well. And so food was always a source of comfort and joy and connectivity in our house. And then, of course, he took that into his career.
Yeah, but Dad gives me more of like meat, like soft ribs, and like.
Oh, Adam loved to barbecue.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's what I'm getting. That was something they.
The grill was kind of his specialty.
Yeah, it was like a thing he did. You got to do this first, and it was like, but the meat
Very
was tender.
much so. And I'm kind of pissed that didn't like immediately pop in my brain, but no, but that was like his specialty. Like mostly when he was in restaurants, when he was in kitchens, he was on the grill. So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So there's also me seeing him fix it. Is this a bike? Did he have a motor? There's something here where it feels like he's fixing it. It gives me the vibe of like not necessarily a car, but like a bike. There's something here. It feels like he was fixing. Not that I feel like he was handyman energy. That's not what I'm picking up. But it feels like he knew he could work his way around. He knew what he was doing. He's showing me fixing. It feels like a bike, girl. I can't even say a car. It feels like some sort of bike. This feels more like a childhood memory as well. So is this your bike maybe? But that's what it feels like him fixing
That's not ringing any bells.
something is what I'm getting here. I'll put a question mark next to this one, but that's what I'm
Okay.
getting here. Him fixing. What else here, Adam, can we show her? Is this a tank? It's like water in a bowl. I'm also getting water in a bowl here, but if I had to, yeah, it feels like water in a bowl. It feels like a fish, like not a full on tank, but it feels like water in a bowl is what he's showing me.
We had fish tanks throughout our childhood. That was a big thing for him. That was something that he raised red-eared snapping turtles for years. When he was a kid, he had
I was gonna say it was something
guppies.
specific
He had
though. One specific. This feels like whatever one he was attached to is what this feels like to me. Why he's showing it to me isolated specifically. in a bowl in water. Didn't feel like a big tank though.
We had a big tank when we were young, maybe like 11, 12. And I know that there were different kinds of fish. Again, I said guppies. He had guppies. I think that there
Are
may
they
have
red? What color are those?
no, but maybe a beta.
I have no clue.
They call them like fighting fish. They have to be like alone. They have a really like I think of them as like blue, but I know they can also be orange. So maybe that's where that's coming. They have like a really lovely tail that's kind of almost like a flag. Like
he not I
goldfish?
say favorite, but it wasn't a goldfish because
Okay.
it's something specific about it. But he's showing it to me isolated is what it feels like.
yeah,
That's what I'm getting.
That's not making any connections for me.
Well, I mean, just the fact that you guys had tanks and water.
Well, I mean,
does.
yeah.
But it's like he's showing me one of them. It feels like was one of his favorite. It feels like to see is what I'm getting.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know names, so you say beta. I'm like, so yeah. So that's the connection I got there. What else here? I'm also seeing here, were you recently, because this feels more like modern day vision is what I'm seeing. Like, was there something recently that you were going through, like maybe some old photos is what I'm getting here. He's showing me that.
I mean, I think that could probably be a lot of different things, but I went back to Ohio for Christmas. That's where my dad was originally from. And that's actually where I was living before I moved to Vegas. I had been living there for probably like 8 years, something like that. But when I went back for Christmas, my aunt, my dad's sister, had a bunch of photos for
That's
me.
what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Even some Polaroids, it feels like in there. One specifically, it looks like it would be a photo of when you guys were children. I feel like he's on his knees is what I'm looking at. Maybe like a living room type scene, but he's on his knees.
Yeah. And that could also be something that I've been thinking about that a lot lately. All of the pictures from our childhood are gone. And some of that is actually his fault because he was always taking shit and then and losing it. But all of our childhood pictures are gone. And that's something that, especially after I went back to Ohio and I got the pictures from my aunt, that was just something that I became very aware of, that all of that was gone.
I feel like this is an encouragement to like collect those photos. But he's showing me, I don't know if you remember this particular photo, but he's showing me this where it looks like how I'm sitting kind of like on the floor if I'd be sitting on my knees and it's like turning around looking up at the camera. Kind of like when you look at kids open up gifts on Christmas.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing here. He's in that picture. The picture itself looks a bit dark, but it's almost like he's wearing lighter colors is what he's showing me here.
Yeah.
So there's an encouragement behind that with the photo thing. He agrees, like, because he's seeing you do that feeling, you know, is what I'm getting from him. And did you used to tease him about his hair? He's like,
no, I didn't used to tease him about his hair. His hair was awesome. And I think that was a very strong sense of pride for him. You know, I've always wondered whether there is like some native ancestry on my mom's side. And he had this like jet black curls, but they weren't like kinky, like African. They were almost like there was like some Asian in there or something, you know? So it really like, he just had this amazing hair and it's something he was so proud of.
Okay. Maybe that's why he's teasing because I'm like, she was making fun of your hair, but okay. Okay, the curiosity about his
hair. And it was also something I think to a certain extent he was kind of uncomfortable with. I remember like as a real young kid, he always had the curls. And then when he got to like probably 11 or 12 and he started trying to be all tough and he was like running with tagging crews and thought he was like a little gangster for a minute, he just went straight bald. Ooh. And he was like that for years. And then it was like he finally kind of turned a corner, and as he was like moving into adulthood and was like starting to kind of redefine who he was again, then he kind of embraced the curls again. So that was just kind of funny. Yeah.
I pick up Native American.
Yeah. Again, there's definitely some curiosity about whether there's Native on my mom's side, and there's sort of a strong suspicion that there is, but that's not anything that we know for certain. But we grew up with a lot of Native American spirituality. My dad dated someone who that was a big part of her life. And so when we were really young, we, would go all throughout California going to sweats and going to powwows. And, eventually my dad got really close with someone who lived on the Tule River Reservation, and we would go up there 3 or 4 times a year. So yeah,
then with there's something here like this that she's done.
The dancing, the powwows probably, or maybe even, because again, sweats were like a really big thing.
I don't even know what that is, but I can see people, it feels like sitting down, not even in a huge groups, but it's like I don't know, like a cleansing ceremony is what I'm
there
getting.
like sage or smoke or something?
That's what this is, I think, is the smoke being distributed around everyone is what I'm getting.
Yeah. And also I think that may even be especially sort of resonant for Adam, because when he was going through a lot of really difficult things, when he was kind of like,
14, 15.
Definitely beginning much earlier, but especially when he was like entering into adolescence and things were starting to get a little
That's
wild.
What I'm getting, 14, 15, and something significant when he was 17 as well.
I'm not familiar with the 17 thing, but I know that, around that age, around 14, 15, I think that my dad was really trying to kind of make sure that he was connected to and grounded in that. As a way to sort of maybe provide him some tools to deal with some of the things that were happening with him at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. I wish more people did that. Okay. That's what I'm getting there with the Native American strongly. There's also something. Did you guys used to walk to school? There's something here. I don't know what this is. Where if it doesn't feel like you guys were together, but it feels like you walking maybe with your people, like you having 2 girls, and then him like watching. But it's like he's outside too, but he's not walking with you. What is this? Like him keeping this eye is what it feels like to me. But it looks
that
like you
could be a couple of different things. I mean, we were bused. We lived in a neighborhood in Southern California that was initially kind of upper middle class, but with the whole sort of like stuff that was going on in the like 60s and 70s, and the changes that were really happening in a lot of neighborhoods in LA, it really became more sort of middle class and then lower middle class as you're edging into the 80s, like and the crack epidemic and but so we were always bused from that community to different neighborhoods, wealthier neighborhoods, middle-class neighborhoods for school. Him, because of, I think, some of the emotional behavioral stuff that he was dealing with, and him needing to attend specific schools, and then me, because of my academics, I was able to kind of go into a new neighborhood. So that was always a big part of our childhood.
But it's like him watching you walk into the distance. Like, not him going with you, but he's watching you from a distance, but it's like you walking with some girl and you're going off into the distance.
I'm not really sure what that is, but that makes me think of there were a lot of periods of separation between us in our childhood because of different things that were going on. Again, going to different schools because of the different things.
Yeah.
When he really started having a lot of like behavioral and emotional issues, there was a period of time where he actually went to live in Provo, Utah for a while. And before that, he was, he had been sent to like UCLA for evaluations and like, so I feel like there were always periods we were being pulled apart or separating from each other, but that's not, it's not making me think of any one specific episode.
Just energy.
There's just a commonality there. Yeah.
That makes sense to me only because it looks as if I were him, it's like me standing in the driveway of the house and watching you walk off in the distance with your friends down the block into the just walk and disappear. So that could be the energy of him feeling like, man,
Yeah.
feeling that separation. That's
And
a
more
tough
than
one.
anything, that was him being pulled away. That was him being pulled out of the home. That was him being taken away. So I can kind of see that. Him feeling like, he's being lifted out of or removed from home and this life. And here I am just kind of walking away while he's being pulled away.
Right.
So I don't know. That resonates, if nothing
Yeah.
else.
And also too, was there something here he did? It almost feels to me like maybe something rehabilitative, but it feels like there was horses here that I'm picking up on.
Definitely. When we were younger, it
It's
was
like
something
a
that we both
memory for him.
enjoyed.
Yeah, fond memory.
My dad, again, identified horses as sort of like a therapeutic thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So we both took riding. We did riding a lot. There was a period of time where my dad had a timeshare in Northern California. It was like an old like mining town or like logging town that they had converted into like a rec space, basically. And there was like a year or two where we would go up there all the time. So yeah, that's what that makes me think of.
Right.
Yeah.
It just feels like it was something that was therapeutic for him. I feel like
Yeah.
the outdoors being, and it's sad to watch the separation that there, but those moments I feel like when he had time with the horses or like in big open areas
Yeah.
was serenity in a sense for him.
Well, and I think also some of the more traumatic experiences that he had, like when he went to Provo, Utah, that was hugely traumatic for him. But it was also, a very rural space. I'm sure, because he always gravitated toward animals. He had experiences on like our grandparents' land, farming and that kind of thing. So that was something I think that he gravitated toward. And so if he had been like, I don't really know much about his experience in Provo. I never went out there. I talked to him very little when he was out there, and that was when we were really young. I think he was 11 or 12, something like that. But I think he might have taken comfort during that really tumultuous time.
Yeah. He also feels very like clairsentient to me, like someone that would pick up on other people's emotions or immediately be like, yeah, I don't know if I trust them, or you know what I mean? Like he had this
Yeah.
thing with energy is what this feels like to me. So I feel like what he trusted was the animals.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he always just had like an affinity toward and a skill with like an ability to connect with animals. He was always bringing something home. He was always rescuing something. He was always saving something.
Well, I get it. The fishes, the turtles,
one pit bull after another that was, picked up on someone's corner. I mean, he was always bringing something home. And that was just his, I think, kind of compulsion to take care of something as well and to fix something if he could, like
he keeps showing me dirt, and I can't make the connection. I didn't want to say anything because Adam, you got to help me out here because I really can't understand this. But if I were to show you the scene that he's showing me, it's almost as if I laid down in it, like did a push up in it, but to look at it. So I don't know what this is. Why I'm looking so close to the. Did he ever have an ant farm? Maybe that makes it. It just.
Not that I can remember.
But you know what I mean? It just feels like there's something here. He's looking up close up, and I'm not getting like a gardening thing with him. It just feels like there's something he's doing in it. I don't know what this is. And I wasn't gonna mention it because I can't see beyond that. Because the way he's showing it to me is through his eyes, so it's like I'm looking close up at the dirt, but I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding what that part is that he's showing me. Okay, what else here? Was there anything specific you wanted to know, or anything that? But it almost, there's also a scene he's showing me where it looks like he's helping you out of a really rough space. There's something here like in the scene. You're very emotional, is what this feels like to me, and I almost feel like he's like picking you up off the ground, is what it feels like. Like it feels like consoling you, but trying to like pick you up is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Like a time, it just feels like a lot of grief on your end. It feels very emotional, and he's like, it's him picking you up.
That doesn't remind me of any specific event, but that does remind me kind of where I'm at now. But yeah, that doesn't remind me of any like real event or
Well, you guys are adults
experience.
in this scene, but that's what I'm getting, this energy of like picking you up, like just feeling like you give the vibe. You know what? Okay, you know when you hear you're watching a movie and like that person gets news like someone passed and they
Yeah,
kind of collapse.
yeah,
It just feels like in the collapse, he's picking you up. You know, is what I'm
yeah,
getting here.
yeah. I'm not sure what that would be. When our dad passed away, I actually followed him out to Ohio because he was collapsing, and I was worried that he was going to be by himself while he was grieving or not grieving with the loss that we were dealing with. So yeah, I'm not sure that's not really triggering anything. And then again, like with him, like my dad's loss led to his loss within a year. Um, and then my mom was within a year of that. So there's definitely a lot of loss there, but there's not like a specific incident prior to their deaths that he and I shared that I can think of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like in his own way, this gives me the vibe of him like still trying to pick you up, like still trying to be here for you, even with the photos. And like I feel like he's trying to encourage you in some ways. What this is, what this
Yeah.
feels like to me. I also have a really bad like even headache. Was there something in here like when he passed? What was he?
He had a few different things that happened, but I think that there was some sort of like, I don't know, like burst blood vessel
In
or
here?
like,
Because
yeah,
it feels, you know those things that it's like a really tight string that has a hook on one side, hook on one side, and you like to hold things in.
yeah,
It feels like that from here to here is what it feels like. Like a
really.
lot of tension in here
Okay.
is what I'm feeling. Like an aneurysm type
Okay.
vibe.
Well, and
Is that
honestly,
what it
the
was?
truth is I don't know very much about actually what made him die. He, went into the hospital kind of suddenly and didn't come back out. And I know that there were different things that he was dealing with leading up to that, but it seemed I don't like it wasn't something that he was dealing with beforehand that we were all sort of kind of
Right.
witness to and understanding what was going on. But there were also like a lot of kind of self-destructive behaviors that he
Yeah.
had been.
It feels to me like he was partaking in something that he shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Right? But I feel like he was doing that to ease the bubbling up of certain things is what I'm getting. It was his way of like self-help is what I'm getting. One, I don't think he'd like to be a burden on anybody. There's something about
Yeah.
him wanting to take control here of, his life, right?
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting. And I feel like that's what ultimately led to his passing. But strikes me in the head, like,
Okay.
is what I'm getting.
I actually really appreciate that. That makes me want to, pull out the death certificate and see if I can actually identify something more than just, the fact that he's gone. Because I don't really know exactly what caused his death. I feel like I know I saw that on the death certificate rather at some point. But I don't really even remember what it was. It was like it wasn't even important, It was just like he's gone. It doesn't really matter why he's gone. But now
To revisit
I've been
it.
thinking about that for a while that I don't know that and I really should. So maybe that's just kind of his, kicking me in the ass a little bit and being like, why don't you figure that out? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you getting maybe like a different sort of?
It just feels like there was a lot going on in here. It just feels like something happened. It feels like
Okay.
in his head is what I'm getting because I feel it's
Okay.
so tight.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like like when you eat ice cream and then like you have that like brain freeze type vibe.
Yeah.
It's a tightness that I'm feeling in there with him.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting. And I do think that there were some, I don't even like to say things like self-destructive. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that wouldn't be off the mark.
But you know what I mean?
But I mean, that definitely, there wasn't a self-destructive intention behind it. If anything, it was, either, partying, or it was coping, or it was escaping.
And it was all of the above.
Yeah.
But I do sense the not wanting to put it on anybody else or put it in anyone else's hands. It was like his own way to, like I say, self-soothe, or his own way to cope by himself is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
You know? And I also feel like it caused him some stomach issues too, is what I'm getting here.
There definitely were stomach issues. I think I always thought that was like stress and anxiety, but it definitely could have been that and all of the self-destructive stuff.
That's what I'm getting in there. And it was kind of like you might make you feel good for 5 minutes, but it's causing you pain for this long. But
Yeah.
in order to feel good in that moment,
Yeah.
is what I'm getting.
And it's funny because now that you're sort of describing that, that sounds very familiar. But I feel like that's not something that I knew explicitly. It's something I maybe intuited, but that's not something he ever explicitly shared, that he was dealing with that serious health issue. And that may have been something that he was trying to downplay or to mask because there were so many other things going on with him. But in hindsight, that seems to kind of sync with some of the health issues that in hindsight I'm recognizing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Anything specific you want
Um,
to see if he knows? Even pertaining to now, like,
this is the only thing that popped into my head. So, for like beginning in either 2017 or 2018, his oldest daughter came to live with me in Ohio for a while. And then my older brother, our half brother, got out of jail and landed on my doorstep, just showed up when she was living with me. And it kind of completely upended my life. And it separated me and her.
was she like 15? How old was she?
She was 15 when she came to live with me. She was 17, I think, 16 or 17 when he came into my home and things really just blew up. And I have not been able to reconnect with her. She ran away. I spent weeks and months like looking for her throughout the city, hounding friends, like, and I was never able to reconnect with her. I still haven't reconnected with her. And in the couple of times that I've gone back to Ohio, I haven't really even made an effort to try to track her down because I'm terrified of that, at the same time. So just kind of wondering if, he's got anything to say about that.
Did she have a younger sibling?
Yeah.
A little brother?
No, a sister.
She had a sister?
Well, actually, there is a little brother too. Adam's son, Adam Mason. He was the only boy. No, there was another boy. There was Evan. Yeah, my brother kind of had a lot of kids.
Yeah, I can see this, but I feel like she had a son. I feel like she's had a child. She's had a son.
His oldest daughter. Mm-hmm. She has had a child in the last year or two. Mm-hmm. I have been told that by my family.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Wow!
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting. Mm-hmm.
And you're getting that it's a boy child?
I'm getting that it's a boy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's the child is young, so this would strike me as no more than a year, maybe a year and a half. This child's young.
Yeah. That's my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Wow. All right, Adam.
Yeah. You know you're oh God, I feel emotional. You know you're okay, right?
What do you mean?
You're good. Like you're good, you're okay. Is the message. You're good.
That's the message.
And you've done good. You've done good and you're okay. Oh my God, the goosebumps. You have done well and you're okay. Okay? I it just feels like there's a lot of doubt about decisions that you've made or things that you've done. Can you have me? But you need to know that you're okay and that like you've done good. You don't have to second guess the decisions that you've made or the efforts that you've put in. Okay? And I do feel like that is him trying to uplift you. You know what I mean? That is him trying to uplift you. Go back to the photos. Create your memory wall. You know what I mean? And find your comfort and your strength in that. Okay? Yeah. What else? Was there anything else you wanted to ask him? I don't know. That was just so related to. You're so beautiful, Jessica.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah. It's okay. I feel like we get to this place where we get like you hit this wall and you're like what have I done? Like what have I done? And you start questioning everything up until this point. Like, you know, how'd I get here? But that's the message. You've done well and you'll be okay. This really is about like don't second guess the decisions that you've made. I feel like you're so strong and you've helped so many people. Like you're that for so many people. Okay? Is there anything else you want to ask him?
No. I'm sure he knows how much I miss him, so. That's really it, honey.
He does. He does. He's also showing me a piece of paper. Do you have something? I don't know if this is in your night. There's a piece of paper here. I don't know if this is like, it's related to him. It could be something between the two of you, but this is what he's showing me. There's a paper here. It feels like a, honestly, I would say it was a bill just because it looks like it's an envelope, but it's folded. But I know it's related to him is what he's showing me. I feel like he's asking you to revisit this paper. Is there a letter that he wrote you? There's something here that I'm picking up between the two of you that you it's in your possession, and he's asking you to revisit this.
I'll have to really think about that. We used to write letters back and forth a lot when we were kids, when we were separated, when he was in Provo and when I was in Ohio. And it was one of the things that kept us connected and allowed us to survive.
Boom, boom, boom. I don't know if you can say it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Continue to write to him. They always ask for something, but it was like I knew it was past energy. This between the two of you guys.
Yeah.
It's what kept you connected. You heard what you said.
Yeah.
Write to him. All your concerns, all worries, questions. Write it to him. Just keep a book and put it in your nightstand, on your wherever. That you just as soon as you said
that idea gives me so much comfort and joy. Like just the idea of like being able to write him and being very focused and excited about that. And that's something, God, I mean, but yeah, I mean, when we were kids, we did that for years. That was what connected us.
Yeah.
And I haven't thought about that in years.
As soon as you say it's what kept us connected, all those goosebumps. So if that's what it is. Okay.
Okay.
Nice. Stay connected, baby. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope this was helpful to you. I thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, Jessica, for doing this.
I'm sorry if I was a little bit of a hot mess and everything coming in here, but I'm really happy for the opportunity to have this experience with you and to honestly feel like you helped me connect with Adam. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you're good. Stay connected. I definitely see that. That's it. That's why he pointed that out. I love it.
Awesome.
And for you to, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, there it is. I love that. I just love when we make the connection for their requests.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for sitting through this with us. If you guys want to stay connected, we do have Discord. You guys can go in there. We're giving daily collective guidance in there. Yes and no's in there. What you need, we got it, right? And it's a beautiful community where we support and love on one another, okay? See you guys soon.